All right, so
I have to give you a little bit of credit for this.
Yeah, we can overdub it later. Just
I haven't had any crazy stories about. Oh wait, no, I do. I got robbed at gunpoint, mugged.
Checking for me, but I ain't checking for them. No.
it's a sleazy real estate, guys.
but
You. All right, so another episode of the EP podcast here. I got my buddy here, Chris Reyes-Hernandez.
You got it.
How are you, my man?
Doing swell, man. Thank you.
All good.
How are you?
Good. I'm well. Thank you for asking. First off, thank you for being here. I know when we first spoke, you had not second doubts, but you were a little hesitant because literally the second time I met you, you were like, I was like, "Hey, you want to come on the podcast?" And it's like, kind of straightforward, kind of straightforward. I didn't even ask you how you were doing. It's like, "Hey, hi, Emilio. Okay, Chris, podcast," kind of stuff like that. But you know how it goes. We just roll with the punches.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, my pleasure. How are you doing? How's everything?
Everything's good, man. Thank
Good,
you.
good. All right, so Chris, we're gonna take this as we usually do. We talk a little bit about how we know each other. What's going on in your life, what it is that you're looking to do, and anything else you want to touch on from there. Whatever hits the mood, kind of thing like that.
Right.
But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, if you have been enjoying the podcast as of date, please remember to subscribe, comment, like, and share it with your friends. I have a really good time doing this, and everybody here really enjoys watching it as well. It's what the general consensus has been so far. So if you enjoy watching as well, please don't forget to do that. And let's carry on with the rest.
Let's do it.
So, Chris, how did we meet?
How did we meet? Through a mutual friend, Mylan. Mylan Reed.
It's a very rare name. I don't think I've ever heard it before, specifically in this episode.
Hey, everybody.
Matter of fact, do we have a Mylan here right now?
Let me see. Look, hey, there's the guy right there. The man himself. Look at him.
Mylan, this is a few episodes in a row now. Do you want to jump in and say hi again? Just watch your step. Watch your step. There you go. There you go. Just make sure you get in the frame there.
Yeah.
The reoccurring guest over here.
There you go.
Sound like a sub, cause like, hey, Mylan.
All right, get out of here.
I like the drip though. Look, the song with the tucked in, the tucked in shirt.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I like
He
that.
he has the Lil Nas X going on right now.
Yep. So that's how we met, through Mylan.
Yeah. So
Mylan.
did we? No, we never met in person. It was just because specifically I saw you through Mylan's Instagram stories because you cut his hair.
Yeah, so Mylan's one of my regular clients when it comes to cutting hair, and he was actually one of my first clients when I first started doing this kind of like full time.
Mm-hmm. And we'll go that into a little bit more.
Okay.
So we met through Mylan. I saw you on his Instagram stories. I love your work, and then eventually, I followed you. You followed me, and then we eventually connected, and I invited you on the podcast, and we kind of just been clicking off since. So it's happened like really fast. It's happened really fast. Yeah. We've gone out together a lot now. Like we've done several things. You've been on several of the episodes in the background. Yeah. So it's been good. It's been good. So aside from that, so Chris, you do a lot. I don't think you do enough actually. So can we go through that list of things that you do on a normal basis?
Normal basis. Yeah. So I actually work full time. I have a full time job.
Mm-hmm. Where at?
It's at a bank.
Okay.
Yeah,
what do you do there?
It's customer service. So I just handle people's, and this is a small business department. So I'm talking to, small business clients all over the country.
Yeah.
So it's just customers dealing with and servicing their accounts. I do that full time Monday through Friday. And then I coach wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah. Just for, obviously the coaching season starts from November all the way through February.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing that. And then with this little side gig that I'm doing, cutting hair.
Okay, cutting hair. Okay, so let's break those down. Where do you want to start off with? I think, does it make more sense to do wrestling, the bank? Which one have you been doing the longest now?
The longest, probably wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take it from there. So, wrestling. Tell us about Chris and wrestling. How did you end up from when you started till now?
Yeah, so wrestling I'll take you back to 2011. So this was my junior year in high school. Up to this point, I was actually playing football.
Okay.
Freshman year, I started sophomore, and then junior year, usually during the
what position did you play
in
football?
In football, on offense, I played guard.
Okay.
And then on defense, linebacker.
Okay.
Yeah.
As some of you know, I'm like a huge football fan here, so I'm very well versed in that department.
Yeah,
So
so I was in the trenches, with the big guys on the
Okay.
offense, and then linebacker, in coverage. But then also I was blitzing. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Did that transition into wrestling?
Oh, tremendously. Like, it helped me tremendously. Like, well, actually, one or the other. Like, football helped with wrestling, and then vice versa. Wrestling helped definitely a lot with football.
Right, because that's what
Positions.
typically happens on the off season of football. People go into wrestling and stuff like that, right? Is that how usually typically flows, or is it the other way around?
No, it's actually like, okay, so a lot of people just stick to one sport.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's like football, and a lot of football, like on my team, my junior senior year, a lot of them were just like one sport athletes,
Mhm.
maybe two. I was actually a choice, so I did 3 sports.
Okay.
But
Okay, so
So-
football,
football
wrestling,
and lacrosse.
and you did all the bad boy sports.
They were fun. I think they were they were really fun. So I started my junior year wrestling. Off season I was doing weightlifting.
Weightlifting, okay.
Yeah, and then one of my boys, actually, my good friend, hopefully he's watching, Ruben Garcia.
Okay.
It's my boy Ruben Garcia. He's the one that just came
Wait,
out
the
to-
Ruben I know?
The Ruben.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's the one that got
he's
me.
quite
into-
the guy. He's
Yeah.
I don't know much about Ruben, but I know just enough.
Yeah, so he.
Troy said he's been doing the last for a while. Yes, he has. I saw some
man.
of it. Okay, so he wrestled too?
Yeah, he was.
Dang.
Yeah, he was the captain of the wrestling team and
Captain.
Yeah, he
Okay.
was the captain of the wrestling
Okay.
team, and he saw me like weightlifting one day after school, and the the weight room is actually in the same floor as the wrestling room.
Okay.
So he just came in, he was just like, oh, he's like, I see you lifting weights, man, you're getting big. I'm like, yeah, just getting ready for the following season. My senior would be my
Junior into
senior
senior.
year.
Yep.
And he was like, why don't you wrestle? And literally, I was like, no, I'm good, man. Literally, no.
Okay.
Then he was like, come on, man, I think you would be good at it. I think you would be good at it. And I'm like, I was still hesitant. Man, you know what? I think I'll just stick to football, I want to focus on that. And with this weightlifting thing, just to prepare for that. He's like, nah, come on, man. Like, he's like, come on, do it. Like, you'll like it. And if you don't, then you can just leave.
Okay.
You know what? So I gave it a chance. The following day, I actually went to the wrestling room and I showed up. And out of all the sports I played, like, wrestling was the hardest sport that I ever participated in. Like, I wanted to quit. I'm not the type of person to be like, yeah, I get into something, so any type of endeavor, and then just like, I had doubts and I want to quit. Wrestling, I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. At first, I was like, yo, this ain't for me. But something about it was like, you know what? This is hard. Like, this is the hardest thing I ever had to do. Like, practices were grueling. And I see my boy doing, Ruben. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a chance. So that's the second day, 3 days, and I'm like, man, my body was aching, sore, just from learning how to, really move, contort your body in different
Right.
ways. And I was just like, I don't know if this is for me. I wasn't getting good at it.
Okay.
All right. I was like, I don't know if this is for me. This was like a weekend, 2 weeks in. I was like, you know what? I'm already this far in. You know what? I'm just going to stick with it. You know what I mean? And Ruben was like, yo, man, he's like, I'm glad you stayed with it. And from there on, he's just like, that's it, man. Like, that sport literally has been life-changing.
Really?
Yeah, so I just want to thank, like, Ruben, man. Like, if it wasn't for him just coming up to me that day and not telling once or twice, but, 3 times, like, yo, come on, you just do it. Come on.
Shout out Ruben. Man,
You know,
I wish
shout
he
out
would have made
Ruben,
it
man.
here. We should have told him to come.
I just texted him. I was like, where you at? His phone's off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His phone's off. Okay.
But
Okay,
yeah,
for
shout
sure.
out to him, man. That thank you, man. Like, he doesn't know how much like weight that thank you means. Like, yo, thank you. Like, that thank you is like life changing, man. That wrestling. So fast forward, like, junior year, Mylan actually was on the squad too.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I met him through.
Okay.
Well, that's when I actually like started talking to him like more because he was in one of my classes, in school. But wrestling, that's when I was really, more. We started talking more. Funny story too is I'll say it, right. He's fine
Of
with
course.
it.
Of course. This is what exactly the podcast is
Hey.
for. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Do you
yeah,
want to
so-
come in for this part? Do you want to come in for this part?
Come on in.
Just get in the frame.
Nah, this is
Get
good.
in-
Nah,
get in the
this
frame.
is Nah. He's comfortable, with me sharing it. Yeah, but this is my sparring partner right here.
Okay.
Yeah, we were going at it, scrapping.
You're good. You're good. Just click cancel.
And I just remember this one. So we were getting ready for a tri-meet. So a tri-meet is 3 schools.
Mm-hmm.
So it was us, Wilmington Christian, and then Sanford. It was against Sanford, so we're going up against Sanford. And Mylan, what weight class did you wrestle? Like 140, 145. Yeah. So he was before me. I wrestled at 170.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrestled at 145. So when he went up. He was first. So I was like, and I was nervous. This was my first wrestling match, like trying me. So I was nervous. I was like, well, if he goes first, I'll be more comfortable because I see him, going at it. So yeah, he was wrestling and he was kicking this guy's ass.
Okay.
Yeah. We were like, yeah, man, like let's go, like pin him, and he was like throwing him around like a rag doll.
Okay.
And then me, obviously, I was still a novice with
Jack, can we get that moved a little bit more so Mylan's more
with
in
the
frame?
sport? So I didn't really know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember him. I just remember Mylan having this guy like he had him like in a bear hug kind of, and like in wrestling,
Mylan had him in a bear hug.
kind of like a bear hug, in the wrestling room.
So it's called a cradle.
A cradle. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Up in my arms like a cradle like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him with a cradle.
Guys,
Guys,
guys, I'm having a little hard time hearing them here. Like so.
He had him in a cradle move, and with this, I mean, just you can pin a guy in a cradle, but it's more so a wrestling move that you get points, like back points. So the whole point of wrestling is you trying to put the guy on his back,
Right.
and his 2 shoulder blades have to touch the mat.
Yeah. And
So-
boy, do I have a story about that one.
So so this, I'm like, yeah, Mylan. We're all like, the coach is like, yeah, Mylan, go ahead, yeah, you got him pinned, and he still had him in his cradle, and I just see Mylan go back, and he's just there, and then the ref like blows the whistle, smacks the mat, and the other team starts like cheering, and then I'm like, wait, what just happened? And the coach is like, he's like shaking his head, and he's like shaking his head, but like I can see him, he's like he has a smirk on his face, like. So I'm like, yeah, what happened? He's like, he just pinned himself. He just pinned himself.
Point Mylan. I mean, the other guy.
Yeah, he got up. He was like,
I was like, what? Because the referee was like, self forfeit, like a self pin forfeit. I was like, wait, what?
Oh my.
I'm kicking this guy's ass. Like,
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like the point goes to the other team? I'm the one kicking his ass. Like,
Yeah.
Right. And they're like self pin. You pin yourself. I was so confused. So I go back and they're like, yeah, when your back is on the when your back is on the mat for more than 3 seconds and everything, it's a pin. Like,
Shit.
I was like, what? I was like, what the hell? That's so stupid. I was like, I'm killing this guy. Like, I'm beating his ass.
That's crazy.
I was wrestling for you.
Myself, and I was like, you know what?
Well, at least you can say you lost to yourself and not him.
And then every single match after that, I lost other teams. So,
You're your own worst enemy, Mylan. What can we say?
way to go.
Oh my
That's my
God.
sparring partner. That's my boy.
Let's reset there real quick.
Yeah. So that was my junior year, and
Just real quick, because I have a funny story to share about
Yeah.
that. So I did wrestling for a little bit in high school, my senior year, I think it was.
nice.
Right? But here's the thing. I did the complete opposite of what you did. I skipped a lot of practices.
Okay.
Right? My thing was I hated being in school all day to then stay in school afterwards.
So you just showed up to the meets.
So, well, I showed up to a meet. So here's the thing. You're absolutely right. Training was a nightmare. Specifically, it was conditioning, at least for me. Like, conditioning was a pain in the ass. I mean, bear crawls, wall sits.
Brutal.
All like terrible. But, me being lazy back in the day, with showing up to practice, I remember having my first match, right? And the thing is, I had experience with jiu-jitsu before that. So I had ground game, but it's not the same thing as wrestling. No, yeah, exactly. So I went up against this school, and I remember I didn't feel terrible because I was confident in my abilities and in the ground, but at the same time not in wrestling. Because as you said, because you say if your back is on the floor for 3 seconds, that's
both
a pin,
your shoulder
and both your
blades,
shoulders.
then that's a pin.
Okay,
Whereas jiu-jitsu, I know, is like,
Right.
I see a lot of guys go to their back.
Right, exactly. So here's the thing, and I remember it so vividly. The whistle goes off, whatever the case is, and then the guy tries to shoot for a double, right?
Okay, right.
He shoots for a double, and this is, I recall this so vividly. He shoots for a double, beautiful sprawl. I stuffed the hell out of it, right? I stuff the hell out of it, but as I'm in my sprawl, I freeze. And then the first thing I do is I look at my coach, and I'm like, what do I do now? So literally, I'm like in a sprawl for like 2 seconds, and it was 2 seconds too late. Because at that point, I'm just like, I haven't stuffed him, but I don't know what the hell to do. I go on his back mount, like, or shit like that, but I couldn't do that. And so he literally just takes over from there and pins me because I'm like, because on my back, being on your back is a normal thing in jiu-jitsu,
right?
And to many, like it's welcomed.
Yep.
But I lost that match because I skipped practice. I didn't do my homework, and I went home that day very upset at myself. And I just had one big bucket of ice cream, and I just fucking I ate it. I literally ate my emotions away, and then I just threw the flag and then went into boxing after that. But
hey, there you go.
But the training was amazing. The training was amazing. Very good moments I had there. I was sick at not my favorite moment, but one of the other memories I have from it is doing conditioning. And I think it was bad weather outside, so the cheerleaders were training inside. So we were doing sprints up and down the hall, and the cheerleaders were like not like next to us, but like next to us, and like doing all their practicing. And conditioning got to me so bad that I ended up literally just yakking in front of all the cheerleaders. So it was such a bad look. But hey, man, when in high school, right? Yeah. So. That was my experience with wrestling.
Hey, at least you did it though, man.
It was fun. It is such a pain in the ass, man. It's such a pain. By far the most physically challenging martial art I've done to date. Still.
Yeah, and it's definitely the most demanding sport, like mentally and physically. All right, you got it. It's like physically taxing on all your like energy systems. You know what I mean? Like your muscles, your aerobic systems, like all that gets taxed. But then mentally too. It's really taxing. So when playing football, I thought football practice was hard.
Yeah.
There's nothing compared to wrestling. I got wrestling, man. Like, football was a breeze.
Yeah.
Once you get through a wrestling practice, man, you something about, like, you pushing your limit to, like, your physical limit. Something about that just made me feel, like, alive.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? You go back then the next day and you do it again. You do it again. Yeah,
and you're constantly testing what your max is, and then exceeding the max, and then you have a max
constantly
new max.
Challenging yourself, and that's what I love about wrestling. And the one-on-one aspect, So junior year, man, I was getting beat up, man. Mm-hmm. Like, I think I only won maybe like 2 matches.
Okay.
And so my record was like 2, and then on the loss column was like 20. You know what I mean?
At least you won one, man.
At least but I see that lost column, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And so this was at the end of the season. I'm like, I don't know if this is still for me. Like, man, like, this is just, I wasn't getting good.
Yeah.
So fast forward my senior year, another coach takes over. So he's actually the head coach to this date now.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I give him a lot of props too on how he went about his wrestling program. Because junior year, the wrestling coach was all about conditioning.
Uh-huh.
You gotta be conditioned. We're doing sprints, to the point of like throwing up yakking.
Yeah.
Every practice. So I like that though. You know what I mean? Because in the match I was good. I was conditioned. I was good, but I didn't know what to do.
Right.
I was like okay, I can last maybe a full 6 minutes of a match, but then. What happens, like, if he's better than me, like, he's just going to pin me. He's going to dump me and pin me, and then it's like all that condition for what? So that fast forward senior year, my head coach was all about more technical. He knew a lot of the wrestlers were first year, second year.
Exactly. So walk before you run kind of thing.
Exactly. So I love how he went over technique. Yeah, we still had conditioning, but his main focus was going over your moves, techniques, and doing that repeatedly.
That sounds like a good coach.
Repeat that. Repetition is a key, is what they say about repetition is the mother of all skill.
Okay.
Repetition. So he really drilled that in, and so I went from being, I mean, this is not to boast or anything. So this is why I instill in my wrestlers now when I'm coaching them.
Yeah, you're coaching now, right?
Yeah, so I'm coaching. All right, look, my junior year, my first year ever wrestling, I didn't know jack squat about wrestling. I was getting like beat up, and I felt like, when you lose, you feel like humiliated, like someone else imposing their will on you. Like that does something to you.
Yeah.
You're just like, fuck, this guy's stronger than me. Yeah. Like, damn, man.
Definitely
you feel like,
puts you in check.
Oh, yeah. It's a very humbling humbling sport. So senior year, I tell them, I'm like, look, man, my senior year, I played 6 in conferences, and I went to states.
Okay.
Again, it's not to boast. It's just like let them know, like, look, a lot of you guys, a lot of them are like first, second year wrestlers. You know, they feel discouraged, like, I don't know how to do this move, coach. I don't know if I'll be able to, do this. I'll win. What if I don't win? It's like, freshman year, I just tell them, hey, look, just go out there, wrestle hard. I won't be mad at you for giving effort.
Exactly.
Give it your all. If you get your effort, then I'll come back. If you lose, win or lose, I'll tell you, hey, look, this is what we can do to, help you out, fix it. So my senior year, I went to states. Man, 6 seed. 6 seed was the last seed. So the top 6 in the conference at that time. I graduated in 2012. So the top 6 go to states. So you're wrestling guys from like Smyrna, downstate. You got Cape Henlopen, Smyrna. Then you got the independent conferences. Like you got your Sally's.
You wrestled against Sally's?
No, I didn't. I
Okay.
didn't get to wrestle anybody from Sally's. But since
You didn't wrestle a guy by the name of Arthur by any chance, did you?
No, I did not.
Because I know he wasn't wrestling. Kidding.
So it was a great experience going down to Cape Henlopen and like being a second-year wrestler, and like this was it. Like I was at the grand stage, in Delaware wrestling, like the top 16 in the weight class. Go there and like wrestle.
Yeah.
So me being the 6th seed, I had to go against the number 1 seed in the state. This kid, Zach Bulls from Smyrna.
Okay.
So I'm there just like, oh fuck, like the number 1 seed. Yeah. So long story short, he beat me in like under a minute in the first period.
Oh shit.
Yeah, under a minute. This guy was the truth, man. Like Zach
was no
Bulls.
joke.
He ended up winning
Okay.
that weight class. Yeah, just to let you know what kind of caliber wrestler he was.
Yeah. So and not even to say that it's not, but is it, what do you call it? Boating? Like boating your journey? What, like, is that what the term you're using? Boating? Is that the term?
Building?
Where you're like when you're not flex but showing off? Boating,
I'm not
right?
sure. Oh,
Boating.
Showboating?
Showboating. Yeah,
Showboating?
you're not boating anything, dude. You literally put in the work, you put in the time, and you went through your journey as a student to a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? Okay, we'll get the door. We'll get the door. It's not gonna open itself. It's fine. People come in and out all the time. It's fine.
Yeah, so like you said, put in the work, and you just like the cliche, you put in what you get out what you put
You
in.
get it. Yeah, you reap what you sow.
Yeah,
And that's what I love. That's what I love about combat sports. It's not like a team sport where you could look at your teammate and like, not that you would, but like put the blame on it, because if you lose, it's because of you, and it's either because the person was better than you, or because you didn't put in enough work.
Exactly.
Or it could be that you did put in the work, but they were just that much more experienced.
Exactly.
So it really humbles you, and that's why you said when you lose, it's like shit. This person is actually that good, or I just didn't put in enough work.
Exactly. So it's and I was gonna say like you said about the team aspect. Like I played team sports, it's great. It's good to be the team building and everything. But like you said, put in the blame. Like let's say for example, like football, right? The game's on the line, like with 5 seconds left, and the QB throws a interception. Well, everyone on the team's gonna be like, "Oh, look, it's his fault. We lost the game. Yeah, it's his fault." Whereas wrestling is, like you said, if you win or lose, if you lose, especially, it's like you can't look to your teammates and be like, or even the ref,
Exactly.
Like, I lost because of you. You got to look inwardly in yourself, and that's what I love about it. You got to reflect on your own self. Like, shit, well, fuck, man. Like, I can't blame. Whereas nowadays, like a lot of people, pass the buck.
Yep,
blame,
exactly. They don't take accountability. Yep.
Yeah, so that's another thing.
They'll point at everything else before they even take a look at themselves and ask, what could have I done better?
Yeah.
Kind of thing like that. So, man, I hear you on that. But how does it feel going from a student in wrestling to a coach in wrestling? What's that transition like?
Oh, man, you know what? It's crazy. It sounds like I still feel like I'm learning like a student,
Mhm.
even though now I'm teaching the sport. You get to learn a lot about yourself too. When you're coaching somebody, like, 'cause you're like, oh man, I was in that same position. In the same position. I see a lot of guys. When they lose, you just see their emotion. Their emotion get the best of them. When they lose, they're like, man, I put in all that work, and you're dead tired, and you still end up losing. So they go, throw their headgear, they go to the hallway, and then just there, like you can see all their emotions bringing out. Like some start to cry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I seen it all. And then when you're winning, you know, everyone loves to win. So when they lose, I like to go up to them and be like, hey, look, you know what? Don't take it like as a loss. Like, you know, you lost. Like, yeah, you lost, but look at it as a learning experience. You know what I mean? Look at it as a learning experience. You know, you put in the work. Let's go back to work. Let's see what we can do to, you know, get better. So that way, next match, you know, you be better prepared. You know what I mean?
I hear that.
So,
And that's like, it's that. How does that feel as one going through those emotions when you went through them, versus now you get to see it in your students, and now you have to experience something that you didn't practice before, being that mentor, being that kind of like pat on the back shoulder, like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. What does that do for you?
For me, well, for my guys, like so I see it like this. I'm helping them like in every which way, not just with wrestling, but I look at it as just like life too.
Mm-hmm.
So when they lose, I tell them like, look, I've been through it too. If you lose, hey, we can come back and you know, go over some more things. So like when I see them lose, I tell them from my experience, you know, like, hey, look, I've been there too, man. It's not a good feeling, like to be, you know, you see your mom, you know, all your buddies,
right.
You know, your whole wrestling team is kind of embarrassing, you know. You gotta get that feeling out. But I tell them, look, if we continue to work, you know what I mean. I try to encourage them. You know, a lot of coaches, like my coach, that's coaching currently, he's more old school. You know what I mean. So if you lose, he'll be like, oh, you fucking like. Oh, you messed this up. I told you not to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I see that he's that type of coach. You know, get on you.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be I'll be like, okay, I'll be the opposite. You know, I want to encourage these guys too. I want to give them some encouragement. Like, hey, look, yeah, you know what? You did this wrong, or, you know, you could do this better.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, hey, just look at it as a learning opportunity. You know what I mean?
So no losses, only lessons.
Exactly. And you know, the guys respect that. You know, every time, literally, when I walk in the room, they're like, oh, hey, coach, man. They're dapping me up. And I love that, man, because, like, you know that you're, you know, instilling not only, like, wrestling, how to wrestle, but for me, like, my goal was to also instill, like, life lessons beyond the mat.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's the beauty of being in a position of mentorship. It's like, there's still the ones that are assessed to you, but then the ones that indirectly come up in life, like things of like coming up to them in those moments and like having to give them like, hey, this is not it. Like, this is like, it's not stopping here. We're only gonna get better from here. Shit like that. Because then you could that's transferable to literally, as you said, anything else in life. So not only are they becoming stronger on the mat, but also off the mat.
Off the mat, absolutely.
So that's amazing, man. And that's just the beauty about just martial arts in general. It teaches you so much, you know, life skills too, off the ring, off the mat. If you let it.
One of my football coach was actually one that quoted this was, you know, and I say it to wrestling too, is, well, sports just in general. It doesn't, may not necessarily, it can build character, but if anything, it reveals it.
Exactly.
It reveals your character.
Exactly.
You know, in those moments of distress, you know, fatigue, you know, it really, you know, you really see what you're made of. You know, wrestling will really test you. Like, all right, what are you made of?
Exactly.
You know,
that's awesome, man.
That
I love that. I love that. So, from wrestling, coaching, you know, prior to that, before and looking at a regular day, you're wrestling maybe clients and customer service at the bank. What's that like? Do you ever feel like you have to wrestle back and forth with your with the clients over the phone?
Yeah, that feels like a battle, man.
What's that role like?
Yeah, so you're speaking to people that are, you know, not happy, you know, they're irate for anything and it's mostly the bank, you know. And that's the thing, is like when they come in hot, you know, they're yelling, oh, you know, what's this fee? Oh, this check hold, you know. Yeah. They have a deposit that they made, and they're like, hey, I want my money. Why is it on hold for like 10 days? So you got to explain to them, hey, this is why it's on hold. You know, and it will have to remain on hold, but this is what we can do to, you know, I guess, alleviate any, like, you know, confusion going forward, how you can avoid these in the future. So in a sense, yes, it is like a battle, but I take it as, hey, you know what? They're not mad at me personally. They're mad at the bank. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're mad at the bank. So I just try to tell them, hey, you know what? I try to put myself in their shoes too. I'm like, hey, you know what? I I know how you're feeling.
Yeah.
You're upset. This is your money. You got payroll.
Mm-hmm.
You got, people you got to pay. You got bills, fuel, if they're like a transportation, there's a lot of transportation companies that call in. So it's like a necessity. They need this money.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. But a lot of times, when it comes to it, it's like you got to let them know. Like, you got to stick to your guns and tell them, look, this is why it's on hold. It's going to remain on hold. But then giving the options like, hey, this is what we can do to, help you not get this hold in the future.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I
But,
see.
yeah, it is, like you said, it's definitely like a battle, man. It's definitely, it's a battle.
So remind me, how long have you been doing wrestling for now?
When it's a little over 11 years.
11 years.
11
Okay.
years,
And how long have you been doing the bankroll now?
The bankroll, yeah, and I want to say 8 years.
8 years. Okay.
8 years,
So you've been doing these things for some time now.
Yeah.
How far out do you see yourself doing the bank situation, the bank job?
Shoot, that's up to God willing, maybe by the end of the year, and then I'll take on the barber business a little bit more like full time.
Okay. And what about the coaching when wrestling?
Shoot, man, I'm gonna coach until till I can't no more,
Yeah,
man.
that's a passion thing.
That's something that I'm gonna, I see myself like, I'm gonna be out there like 60 years old,
Mhm.
still wrestling the guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be that coach where I'm just like still, wrestling, still going at it. I'm gonna do it till the wheels fall off with coaching.
Yeah, that's what I noticed about you too in your Instagram stories is that you're not the coach that just stands there and yells at everybody and tells them what to do. You're the coach that gets dirty with them.
Yeah.
You're the one that teaches through practice, not just teaches through preaching.
Right.
So I do really enjoy that about you because there is some people that better learn that way, kind of thing. It's just like a classroom, right? Some people better learn when they're actually working through a problem or they're showing it on the whiteboard, whereas others are just more like read the textbook, figure it out kind of person.
Right. Yeah. So I like, and the guys enjoy it too. They're like, they always try to test like, oh, who can be coach today?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I always got to bring it up my all, 100%. These guys bring it, so I gotta bring it too. You know what I mean? So we keep each other, on our toes, hold each other accountable. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Remember when we used to do King of the Mat? Do y'all still do
Yeah, we still do that.
King of the Mat. King of the Mat.
Yeah,
What's
so
King of the Mat?
So the last person would wrestle the coaches.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Yeah. So it's basically like everyone
I
lines up.
King of the Mat though one time.
Uh-huh.
I had to wrestle.
Okay.
With the coaches. I couldn't let him beat my ass because I was not.
Oh,
What
man.
coach was it? Was it Schuster? Do you remember?
It was a shorter one.
Yeah. Okay, that's Schuster. Yeah.
No, I like pinned this. It was like Richie. How much did Richie weigh?
It was like 113 pounder, man.
Richie,
Oh, Richie who? Richie.
big guy, Richie, Richie White.
Oh, Richie White. Yeah, that's our heavyweight. Yeah, our heavyweight.
Yeah, I had
Okay.
to him. He was like 3. He was like what 2 something.
Oh nah.
Almost 300.
Oh nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
And what time were you wearing? How much were you weighing?
145.
145 against 300,
I
man.
freaking almost killed this one kid.
Well, wait.
Kept callous.
Oh yeah. He was like our
I
106
kneed him
pounder.
in the nut and everything. Like he was crying up. I was so bad.
Oh my god.
I
Yeah, it
felt
gets
like
real
the biggest
bad.
guy on there and everything, and then like I had to wrestle
That's
the coach.
terrible. Oh
I
my
was like,
god.
nah, you can beat my
That
ass.
happens. That happens. And then you just gotta hope that they don't want to kill you right after.
I felt so bad because I was a senior and he was like a freshman. I was like
Oh.
this little kid. I felt so
Well.
bad.
Teach him young.
Look
Teach
at
him
that.
young.
It was crazy though because now he's like a giant.
Yeah.
He like towers over.
Well, I hope he doesn't bump into you at a bar. So, okay. So you briefly brought up about hopefully end of the year, then switching into the side gig, making it a full-time gig. So tell us about that. What is this full-time gig? I mean, the side gig, potentially a
my
full-time gig
little,
now.
Side gig. Yeah, it's barbering.
Okay.
Yeah, couldn't hear him.
How did that come about?
How'd it come about? Me not what is that? It started freshman year.
Okay.
Or not being able to afford a haircut.
Okay. Okay. Look at that.
Not being able to afford a haircut. So yeah, freshman year, I was going to a barbershop in my neighborhood, and they were at that time, if it's gonna sound like long ago, because
Yeah.
the price, $10 haircuts.
$10 haircuts, man.
And I still couldn't afford that shit. And I just remember like going in there, and me, every time I get a haircut, I want to keep it relatively fresh, So every other week, bi-weekly, I would go in, and I wasn't working freshman, sophomore year, so I would have to ask my parents for money,
Yeah.
and I hated asking them for money just
hear that,
because they would look at me and like, well, didn't we just give you money the other week? And I'm just like, yeah, I know, but I got another one.
Hair grows.
Like, yeah, and then my hair grows back fast, so I had that issue too. You know, and so during high school, I'm like, you know what? I hate asking my parents for money, and I'm poor and broke. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna try to, you know, do this on my own.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? So we actually had a pair of clippers. What were they, like cheap, like Walmart Conair clippers?
Okay.
That I started with. And yeah, I was there. Like I watched like a simple like 20-minute YouTube video how to taper.
Okay.
You know, a simple taper tutorial.
And how long ago was this?
This was 2008, 2009.
Okay.
And so
while the housing market was crashing and the financial markets were doing terrible, you were on YouTube figuring out how to get a taper. Different kind of problems, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
Oh man, and yeah, I just remember watching the video and then I'm like, okay, I got this. And so I was there with the clippers. The first go at it, I pushed the tape. It was a taper. Ended up being like a whole high fade. It came up to here, like the zero came up to like here, and I'm like, oh fuck! And I started like panicking because it was a Sunday, and the following day I had school.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh shit! Freshman year, I'm like, damn man, they're gonna look like, oh, who you up, bro? Like, yeah.
You gave yourself the John Cena. You know, we had this thing all the way up here.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was like literally like a high fade, and yeah, I just didn't know how to blend, so I'm just there like, well, this is it. I'm going to school like this.
Yeah.
And the only thing was that it was during the winter time.
Oh, okay.
So what I did was I just put on like a beanie.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that saved me. So long story short, I would just like continue to, you know, work at it. Like, all right, I fucked up. I'm not going to go up that high. Let me go in a little bit lower. And I just practiced. So I want to say that the first year, I jacked my shit up. Even 2 years into it. So it's my junior year. I was still cutting my own hair. I would still jack it up. So.
I think most of us can relate to a story back to when we had a bad haircut. And we were very worried and nervous and anxious about going to school with it. Because you already know, some people just have no filter, man. They will flame you all the way up. When they hit you with that, boy.
Who lined you up, man? Look at that thing. It's like a seesaw.
Exactly, man. Okay, so you've been doing this since, I didn't realize it was that back.
Yeah, but it wasn't like I sucked, like I wasn't good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would cut it like once a month. You know, once a month. And so yeah, I just went at it. And then I graduated shortly thereafter. I graduated, and I was still doing it. You know, I was working a little bit, so I did have a little bit of money to go to the barber shop. So I did actually at one point let it go for a bit. Okay. The cutting. All right.
I'm glad you didn't.
But I did pick it up again. You know, fast forward like.
What made you pick it up again?
Just at that time, like as y'all know, like the price of barbering, like haircuts were going up. So like I said, in 2008, like $10, $13, and $15, $20, $25, $30 haircuts, and I'm just like, yeah, nah, this ain't it. And there's another thing too is like the price, you know, it kept going up.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find a decent barber. If I did find a halfway decent barber in a barber shop, then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get him. He's gonna be my barber. You try to book with him, always booked. He would just be so busy. So that's the thing is like if you find a halfway decent barber, you know, he would just be booked all the time.
Right.
So then I'm a walk-in, so I just walk in. I'm like, he's booked. Then you would have to go to the guy. You go to the barber that wasn't even busy.
Yeah.
The one that was just there, like empty chair. He's like, hey, yeah, you want to come? All right, come on. And he'd just be like, well, I'm there. I need a cut. So you would just go and pay, you know, the $25 and look in the mirror like, fuck, yo, you fucked it up.
Yeah, man.
It's not what I was really looking. So I had that issue. Like, all right, well, I couldn't find a decent barber. The price was going up. I had to resort back to cutting my own hair.
Yeah.
And actually learning how to cut. You know what I mean?
Problem solver here, man. I like that. Very handy. Very handy guy. Because I remember when, and to exactly your point, when I didn't have a set barber, I would have to go to a place, one of those places where you just walk in and then whoever's available gives you a cut. I'm not gonna throw any names out here, but what's it called? And as you said, like it was always a different haircut. Because it's different people, different styles, different haircuts, and even if you know what you want, the way they might go about it is differently.
Exactly.
I remember I drew the line when I walked out and I saw that my is it my hairline's here? Would you call this? Because I know hairline's here, but does this count as hairline?
Yeah, the C cup.
Okay. I remember one thing was here, and the other thing was like.
No.
I was like,
Tragic.
Bro, I went through like an identity crisis for like 2 seconds. I immediately started calling my friends. I'm like, yo, bro, you got a barber, you got a barber, you got a barber. And then I met this barber, I think it was 8 years ago, by the name of Eddie. Shout out Eddie. What's it called? And I remember my friend took me, Jose. Shout out Jose. And I remember the first time I sat down on the seat. I kid you not. I sit down at his seat. He comes up to my ear, right? Pretend my ear is the mic. He comes up to me and goes like this. This is going to be the best haircut you're ever going to get. I was like, okay. I was like, okay then. And then 8 years later, I was still with him.
Yeah,
I was still with him.
Yeah, a haircut can change you, man. It's crazy
man.
how a simple a haircut can change you, man.
And that's so interesting. Yeah, so
What are you laughing at?
yeah. So I was with him for a long time, and it was just one of those things. When you find a good barber and you get attached to them, it's hard to let anyone else touch your hair. So I had that relationship with him. But I think even above the quality of the haircut, I think what I like even more was the stories that came along with it.
Oh, yeah.
My barber, and I love you, Eddie, but man, you can talk. I would say you talk just as much as you cut, if not more. Huh? Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna share his stories, but man, that's when I realized that getting a haircut is more than just a haircut.
Oh yeah.
It's an experience, right? And then you build that relationship with your barber, and then you build loyalty with them, which hence my long relationship with them. But and that's so true to what you're saying. The difference that one feels going into the barbershop versus leaving the barbershop. We were talking about that one video that we both saw, right? The guy goes into the barbershop, is like he's lacking confidence, he's looking all down and upset.
Oh yeah,
like, he doesn't even know what to get. And then the moment he gets a haircut,
settle down, man.
and then he gets a haircut, he comes out like, it's like, yo, what a bitch is that? I think it's the Old Spice guy. You guys, not Old Spice, Spice Adams. I think it was Spice Adams, the guy I saw, like the one that goes like, he goes like,
Oh yeah, that guy.
I think it was Spice Adams, because
Spice
he played football. I forget for what team. But he played in the NFL before.
Oh shoot, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, what is that like for you when you? Okay, so it's weird, because I feel that when I get my hair cut, but you cut your own hair.
Yeah.
Is it the same thing, or is it
some little differences, like tweaks? So when I cut my hair, I have my bathroom mirror, then I have a handheld mirror in my right hand, and then I'm left-handed. So then I had the clipper in the other hand, and you're just there, fading. So right before getting here, I faded myself up too right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, it just takes a little bit longer. It's very you gotta be very meticulous with the fades. You definitely have some patience.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
So like I was saying that part of the fun things about getting a haircut with a good barber is that you get experience out of it, the conversations, right? So how do you entertain yourself when you cut your own hair? Are you talking to yourself in the mirror as you're like, or like you got some music playing in the background, like you're talking to the clipper, like what's going on? Like you like the way I did that thing? Like the way I lined that thing up?
Like no, literally just music.
Okay.
Yeah, just music in the back.
That's scary though, because you're Latino, right?
Yeah.
And if you have the right music going on, your body just starts moving, and you don't want to move, and then because then you're John Cena again.
But that's the thing. It's like, hey, well, you don't fuck this up. You know? Like, because then you'll be rocking this effed up haircut for like a couple weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks. Yeah.
Good thing it grows back, man. Good thing. Okay, man. So. Yeah.
Ever fuck up like your time on your own hair?
Yeah. Have you ever? Yeah, you did your first time, right?
All the time. Yeah, I want to say like the first literally like 4 years, man. Like 4 years, I was still like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna get good at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 years, and yeah, I was still learning tricks of the trade, you know, of how to cut, you know, really, you know, these blurry fades, as they call it, like blurry fades. So yeah, it took like 5, 6. I want to say like by the time I got halfway decent, this is like 6 years in.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
like 6 years in, and that's just because, like I said, I wasn't I did take like a bit of a hiatus with cutting, but then I went back to it. But yeah, nah, man, it's great. That obviously helps with the cutting. You know,
hey guys, guys, I'm having a hard time here. Side conversations. Okay, yeah. So, but here's the thing. Here's what I'm realizing. 6 years before you were half decent, as you say, and then same thing with you wrestling. You said you had your 2 and 20, right? But it took you, you know, a lot of resilience and a lot of putting time in. So that's just like a general character thing you have, right? So do you have a hard time like giving up on things, or is it like you just are so like not arrogant, but like, you know?
No, just like I see it as a challenge. Like anything, if I'm learning something new, it's just like I see it as a challenge. You know, let's see what if I can do it. You know what I mean? So that's how I looked at it with wrestling. Yeah, it's like this is a challenge, like, but I still kicking back to it. I'm like, yeah, this is grueling practice. Like they're not fun. I remember watching even Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan talks a lot about MMA, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. He says that he's like he had someone he had a guest on his own show talking about wrestling, and the guest was. And I resonated with it because it's true. He's like, wrestling never gets easy. Like, it's always going to be hard. So no matter how good you get, it's always going to be just, like, grueling hard. Right. But that's what I love about it, is you're continuously, like, challenging yourself to, like, a breaking point. You know what I mean? That's what I love about it. But, yeah, I see everything as, like, a challenge.
That's awesome, man. So it's good to know that you don't back out of a challenge. But even outside of the bank, the mat, and the clips, I see you also partake in, you know, activities outside of all that.
Yeah.
So you want to go into a little bit of that, like the things like the running, you know, the sporting events?
Sure, yeah. Aside from like...
Tell us about that, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I've participated in some half marathons, so, you know, and this is another thing just to keep me in shape, something to do. And yeah, I was the one that actually hated running. I hated running all throughout high school, so I picked up like running and doing like 5Ks, 10Ks. In 2014.
Okay.
I was just like, all right, I'm just going to start running. Running on a treadmill, a couple miles, and then going outside running. And then I'm like, well, I'm doing this running. It feels good. You know, you get that quote-unquote runner's high.
Yeah.
You know, everyone can attest to that runner's high if they ran a couple miles before that runner's high.
No, we said runner's high. No, Jesse. Wrong high,
Jesse. Yeah, so that's another thing that was like, all right.
I mean, you could run to the plug and then get high, but, you know. But 2014, so even that you've been doing for a while now.
Running, yeah. Just keep me in shape.
Okay, so apparently we did one event. Like, we did 2 events. Like, one I didn't know you. One I did know you, but we didn't really speak like that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You did the Delaware Marathon Festival, as did I. You did a half marathon, I did a 10K, but we didn't know each other at the same time. The one last year.
Yeah, this past...
2022. Yeah, 2022. We're 2023, right? Just keeping track. And then you also did the Spartan.
The Stadion.
The Stadion, the 5K 20 obstacle course one, right? Yeah. That's funny, dope. Man. So the half marathon at Delaware Marathon Festival, did you do it with anyone? By yourself, like, or what?
Yeah, I've done a few of them, and they've all been by myself.
Okay.
Yeah, all by myself.
What about the like you had a little bit of a moment there.
Yeah, I was like,
by myself, cue sad music. That's what I'm saying. Like, we had a short clip.
No,
right
you know what? It went through my mind. I'm like, when you said, you do it by yourself or do you do it with people, like anybody?
Yeah.
I did try to ask like some of like my friends back then, like, hey, I'm running this. You want to do it with me?
Yeah.
But yeah, they folded.
Yeah,
so that's why.
So
I saw me a little sad.
So you did the half marathon and then you did the Spartan Stadion. So how did you do it by yourself too?
Nah, the Stadion I did it with a couple of my friends.
Okay. Yeah. Damn. So they participate in the half marathon, but not in the half marathon, but they do the Spartan. I would argue that the Spartan event was maybe a little. I don't know about you, but for me, I found the Spartan event to be a little harder than the half marathon. Actually, a lot harder. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was fun. It was so fun.
I was surprised it was a 5K because I was running up those stairs. I'm like, do we gotta run
Dude.
up more stairs? Like,
Dude.
damn.
So for
That was
anyone,
tough.
so for my Delaware Philly people, Citizens Banks Park,
Park where the
right?
Phillies
That's
play.
where the Phillies play.
Yeah.
Like if I don't know if you've ever seen a game or been to the stadium, but imagine being there right now and all the seats, and you could get a view of all the seats. You literally have to go from one end of the stadium to the other end of the stadium, up and down the lowest point, up to the highest point, and then down, up, down point,
While
all
doing
the
those
way down.
obstacles.
And it does feel like it never ends. And for someone that runs half marathon as much as you do, you know, you hear 5K, you think, oh, that's a piece of cake. But at least I did, completely underestimated.
I was the same way.
You know.
Underestimated that thing.
Dude, I'm so bad. I've always had an anxiety or I've been scared to climb anything.
Really? Okay.
So I remember, like, I was already nervous to do it to begin with, but it was one of those things. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to sign
Just
up and
do
hope
it,
for the
yeah.
best. Right. And I remember going up to the first obstacle. The first obstacle was literally like a 5 foot wall to jump over. And that was giving me anxiety. And that's not even knowing about, what is it? Was it like a 10-foot plus?
10 foot, yeah.
I was like, what the hell? So I literally, for a lack of better terms, had 20 first times in that one event because of the 20 obstacles.
I can only
never done any of those.
So back to that, like with you being with the anxiety, so I can imagine just at the end with the rope, you gotta climb the
Never
rope.
done that before. It was
You would
so
you close your eyes doing climbing up?
bad.
What you
Dude,
do?
and I think, look, I'm so happy I got all this on video because you literally see me failing climbing the rope like for 5-10 minutes. And I'm like, and I'm so bad at quitting. I'm so bad at quitting. Like I beat myself up about it, and so I kept looking at other people doing it. I kept trying to see how people do. I asked people, so how do you do it? And then on the other side of it, because if you didn't do it, you would have to do burpees.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, I'm not having none of that, right? So I even told the guy that was working it, I was like, bro, I want to do it so bad. I do not want to do burpees. He was like, all right, so then do it then. I was like, oh, thanks, guy. So you literally see in the video, I'm like falling, and then they have this one last moment where I'm just like, you know, like hands on my hips. I'm looking down, I'm looking up, and then I just zone out for a little bit. This is all on video, by the way. And then you finally see me taking the last effort into the rope, and then I finally figure out the technique of using your foot to kind of repel you up, kind of thing like that.
Help you up a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas some people, they're just going like this, nothing, like
upper body
nothing.
with the arms.
Guys,
Yeah.
apparently I'm not as strong as I thought I was. Oh well. Yeah, and I just saw it. I never did it. Are you kidding me?
The little
I was
blocks,
playing
like-
soccer, but I just, you see me like climbing it, and that's the first thing you have in mind. Like, how the hell am I gonna get up? Until you get up, you knock the bell. You smack the bell, and you did it right. But what you don't think about is how to get down. So all you see me is just hanging on. You're like looking down, and my legs just going like.
You know, imagine your
It literally just start going jello. I'm like, oh my god! And my instinct was like, should I just jump off? I'm like, no, I shouldn't. So you see me struggling down, but it was such an emotional moment for me for no reason. It was just more of the fact that I failed. I beat myself up trying to get it, and then I got it. Then once I did it and I got off of it, you literally see my reaction in the video. I'm like, fuck yeah. It's like, fuck yeah. Tell me I can't do something. What's next? What's
That's that
next?
victory, yeah.
It's I don't know if you ever seen the P. Diddy video when he got like I think it's the MTV spot commercial where he's literally taking a phone call and he's like put me on. He's like then replace him, like put me on. And then I guess the person on the other phone said that they're gonna do it. He's like, all right, bet. Boom, hangs up. He's like, let's go. He says, nothing I can't do. What's next? That's
how you,
and that's literally how I felt. So it's to what you were saying. It literally is such a like inspiring thing to push limits that you didn't know you had, and then overcoming them, and then finding more and more and more after.
It's just that. It's just a mental battle.
So
that's all it is. Just a mental thing.
Exactly, man. But other side of that, how was your experience with Spartan?
I'm gonna do it again.
Okay.
I want to do it again. Yeah, it was definitely fun. It was a good experience. Like I said, like I underestimated as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like 5K, I'm like 5K.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
piece of cake.
But then with the obstacles, running up the steps, I'm like, it wore me out.
Yeah.
But it was fun though. And then we get to some victory beers after. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
it was awesome.
Yeah. What was your favorite obstacle?
Favorite obstacle, I want to say, what is it? Carrying these little things on each.
That was your favorite one?
I like doing that, man.
Bruh.
I was like, you get to test your grip strength.
Yeah, farmer's carry.
Yeah.
Not the bags I like to carry,
Yeah,
dude.
that was-
Hell no, man. That was a pain in the
You know,
ass. Like 40 pounds, no?
Now each one was like 50, 60, something like
Yeah,
that.
actually, yeah, they were more than that. Yeah. It's like you got to, because you had to carry them like up and down like the ramps, right?
Yeah.
Up and down the ramps, and then like all that shit.
So I want to say that's like 100 feet maybe.
So in itself, it's not that crazy. But then there's the obstacles before that and the running and everything. Everything just kind of adds up and everything like that. But man, it's such an experience that you can't really get out of doing things within your comfort zone.
Exactly.
From what I understand about Spartan racing,
Yeah.
they do a different animal each year. What animal?
Animal, what?
Animal, what is it? No.
So like on your medal, there should have been like
I was it a bull?
Oh, I thought it was just a Spartan.
Yeah, it was just a Spartan race.
Yeah, I mean, it was a piece of the trifecta. Because if you do a certain number of races a year, different kind of races, you could collect the different pieces and then put them together.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so we got, I think it was the red one. Or no, we got the yellow one.
Okay.
The yellow one. That's the one we got. But to that point, is it a good time to announce what it is we're doing?
Go for it. Yeah.
All right. So as we shared, Chris and I here ran the Delaware Marathon Festival, but he did a half marathon. I did a 10K. The Delaware Marathon Festival is held each year, and it's different kinds of runs going on all at once, anywhere from a 5K all the way to a marathon. I think there's even something for children as well.
Yep.
So since you've been doing it and I did it last year, I was like, why don't we do it again? But you said, let's do the half marathon because how did that go down? So we did the half marathon, and then what did I propose?
You went right into, you know what? Let's do the full marathon. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, we're officially doing the Delaware full-on marathon.
The full marathon, just so anyone, just if anyone doesn't know, full marathon is 26.2 miles. Yeah.
Have you ever done one before?
Never.
Yeah.
No,
so just to put this, how stupid I am with some things and how reckless I am. So what's up? It actually goes over an hour. Oh. We just found that out recently. I didn't realize it's been an hour already. Holy shit.
Time's flying, huh?
But what's it called? What was I saying?
For those who don't know about the length of
So thank you. You've been running since 2014. I literally only started running official races last year, right? So I did a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and Spartan last year, right? And then I saw that you did you've been doing like races too, and then we were talking about doing it together, and then you said the half marathon. I was like, no, fuck it, let's do a full marathon. Why not, right? And you've been doing this 10+ years? Someone did the math, or was it 16 years? How many?
2014. So like
quick man, where's the accountant guy? All right, so you've been doing it for a long time, and I come out of the fucking woodworks like, hey, let's just do the whole thing. Why not, right? Why have the slice when you can have the pie, right?
When you uttered that out,
why have the slice when you can have the entire pie, right?
When you uttered that out of your mouth, I was like, yo, this motherfucker's crazy. Hey, but let's do it. Hey, and so now it's like no backing out. It's like we did it. All right,
we're gonna do it. Even if we struggle through it, we're gonna struggle through it together.
And I was gonna say that each checkpoint they have ambulances. So hey, man, if I die at like 13 miles, man,
fuck
like,
that. We don't need that.
Go.
No. We're gonna have to carry the ambulance. We're gonna have to carry the ambulance. Screw that. There's no giving up. So we're gonna hold each other accountable. We're gonna be partners, and we're gonna get that marathon together.
Absolutely.
Woo. Yes, sir. Fuck yeah. So yeah, man. That's the thing with that, man. You're doing the coach thing. You did wrestling you went from on the mat to then directing the mat, the bank, the Barber story now, and then the side. It's like you're doing your side missions too at the same time. There's the main missions, and then there's the side missions, the side quests, the side quests. And now we're kind of joining stories here. Yeah. So that's gonna be awesome, man. I'm looking great. I'm really excited for it. I cannot believe it's been an hour already. Holy crap. Is there anything else you want to get into? We kind of just went. We've been going for a while. Like, here's the thing. You need to come back again. Yes. You need to come back again. Okay. You need to come back again. And then when you come back, we're gonna talk about our marathon. Okay. This is gonna be post marathon.
Yeah, it's gonna be post marathon. I like that. Yeah,
we're gonna talk post because this is a beautiful thing. There's gonna be. I could already see the clip. I could already see the clip.
Stay tuned, everybody.
It's us saying we're gonna do a marathon. Cue clip of us doing the marathon, and cue present clip of us like, yeah. So how about that marathon?
That'd be dope, man. Yeah.
And then we're gonna do a triathlon right after that.
Crazy. Let's do it though.
I'm not that crazy. You suggested an Ironman here, but. Chris, oh my God, man. Thank you so much. This has been so fun. Man. Thank you so much for guys, we're closing out here.
This hour flew, huh?
Dude, it's been so fun. It's been so fun, do anything else like you want to do you have any questions for me? Anything else we might have missed?
We'll stay tuned till next time.
All right. Till next time, buddy. Thank you so well, I'm gonna close out here. Guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the EP podcast. This hour completely flew by, and I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I did in my conversation with my buddy Chris here. If you haven't already, please subscribe, comment, like, and share it with your friends. I can't wait to do more episodes, and I can't wait for us to do our second episode and talk post-marathon things. But hey, guys, subscribe. It's been fun. Thank you so much, Chris, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hell yeah, bro. I'll see you soon, all right?
Absolutely, yep.
Till then, EP Podcast is out.